That Great Business Show, Ireland's best business podcast.
ThatGreatBusinessShow.com is brought to you by De Facto Shaving Oil, the best anyone can get. Made in Ireland, sold worldwide.
Welcome to episode 108 of That Great Business Show, Ireland's best business podcast, posting on the 7th of October 2022. Hi, I am Conal O'Moran. We like to mix it up here on the podcast, never the same story twice, and as always, with an eye to finding or making you money. We are here to support you. We are Ireland's SME podcast. And as always, you have been good, because you have shared. Sharing gives our podcast a viral reach, sending us to number 27 in the podcast charts during the week or so. So, thank you very much. I've also found a new trick to make it even easier to share, because I'll be posting a QR code to the podcast on our LinkedIn pages. And how tech cool is that? And so, to episode 108, coming up, we have a cast of thousands with us in studio. We have an Offaly-based company that teamed up with a Derry-based college to make their business better. And we'll tell you how they accessed help from Intertrade Ireland to make it all happen. Your business can do likewise. And all our great tips and insights are brought to you by that great Irish company, De Facto Shaving Oil, made in Mayo, sold worldwide. And the boss there, Tom Murphy, is looking for high-energy salespeople serving the grooming market worldwide to sell the world's best shaving oil. And if you want to know more, send Tom an email at tom@pamex.ie. That is Pamex.ie. And the man himself will take it from there.
De Facto Shaving Oil, smooth as.
Now, as I mentioned, we search high for you. We search low for you. Team GBS scours every corner of the economy on your behalf to find any sign of money, mentorship, brain power, anything, absolutely anything that will help your business. And we've done it again. Today I have 4 guests in studio because of their different skills, who are all part, directly or indirectly, of Intertrade Ireland's Innovation Boost programme. Now listen carefully, because no matter what your business is, this could apply to you. And let me start with the man who made contact with me, Dominic Mullan, to give a background to this programme. Dominic, identify yourself and welcome to That Great Business Show.
Thank you very much, Conal. Great to be here and great to talk to you about the Intertrade Ireland Innovation Boost programme, which, as you've already said, brings money, mentorship and brain power to SMEs in Ireland, North and South, who wish to collaborate with third-level institutions to help them take forward an innovation project which will have long-term commercial impact for their company.
You haven't given me a title.
My title is Innovation Boost Consultant.
Oh, that's one of the reasons why I don't give people titles anymore, because they go on forever. And sometimes I wonder, what is that? Well, Innovation Boost Consultant.
I could have said I'm an Innovation Boost matchmaker, if you like, because that's what a lot of my work boils down to. I will talk to companies such as Future Ticketing that we have here today and talk about what they can see in their business by way of opportunities or perhaps challenges, and help them connect with a college, in this context in Northern Ireland, a college which brings expertise, experience, perhaps facilities which they don't have access to within their own company, but which will be instrumental in helping them address an innovation challenge within their own business.
And we are an all-island podcast, so on this cross-border stuff, it all sounds good to me. Has Brexit made any bit of a mess of that at all? Or has it improved it maybe?
It hasn't made a mess at all in respect of the opportunities for collaboration, in respect of innovation or what some people might call knowledge transfer. In fact, it's perhaps more buoyant than ever before.
Why?
I think companies are aware that they need to be mindful of their own competitive situation vis-a-vis other players in the marketplace. So they can't perhaps rely on the products or services that have earned them their bread and butter up to now. They need to be looking wider than that and seeing how they can bring new products, technologies, services to the market that will allow them to differentiate themselves from their competitors. And you'll be aware, like we're all aware, I think, of challenges which companies have at the moment in respect of aspects such as supply chain, the labour market is a little bit tight, things like that. All of that causes companies to look a little bit more at their own operations and to see how they might achieve better efficiencies in their own operations. And that's something that the programme can help with as well.
And we have every shape, make and size of company on this podcast. We had Nicola Kearns of Nicky's Tea. We have software companies. We have every type of company. What kind of companies are you looking for?
Much like yourself, Conal, we deal with lots and lots and lots of different types of companies. I think in life in general, variety is the spice of life. The spice of life, and certainly for me in this role, in any one day, I might deal with a biotech company, perhaps a food company, perhaps a technology or software company like Future Ticketing, and that's something which makes it really interesting for me and interesting for lots of your listeners out there, I think, today.
Now, don't put off my listeners, but tell me quietly, what companies do you not want to hear from, or which are the ones that really excite you?
Companies that are a little bit trickier in terms of eligibility for the programme would be a company that's perhaps very locally focused or retail oriented. They typically
we don't do anything that is locally focused. Everything must be looking off the island.
There you go. That works. So we're keen to see companies who have a genuine commitment to innovation. Lots of companies are very busy with the day-to-day. That's understandable. But we love working with companies who realise that they need to do something outside of the ordinary to improve their longer-term commercial outlook. And we love to work with them and to help them identify the partners and the resources and the money and the mentorship and the brain power, as you said, to help them move those forward.
Now, you've just been given a new job just now by me. You're going to co-host this, because what you're going to do next now is you're going to introduce our second, if you're my first guest, my second guest, please.
Okay, I think I'll start by introducing Liam Holton, who's the founder and CEO of Future Ticketing. Future Ticketing have just very recently completed a Innovation Boost collaboration, and they're a great company from Tullamore in County Offaly, but whose reach is now extending way, way, way beyond that. And rather than me trying to tell you all about Future Ticketing and their activities, I think I'll pass the baton to Liam.
I'll wait till you hear this for a voice. No pressure, Liam.
Thank you, Dominic. Yeah, Future Ticketing is a company I founded with my co-founder, Mark Cotter, who's the brains of the organisation 7 years ago. We provide ticket sales enabling software internationally. So far we've sold tickets in 167 countries.
Get away.
Yeah. Mostly for...
There aren't very many more countries in the world, you know.
Yeah. They keep adding new countries, actually, to make it a little bit more difficult to us.
People trying to rob other countries around you at the moment.
Yeah, so it's a truly global product. So somebody...
What were you doing before this?
I was working for Punchestown Racecourse.
On tickets or ticket sales? Or?
Yeah, well, that's where the idea came out of the fact that we went to the market looking for a ticketing system about 8 years ago.
When you say we, Punchestown did?
Punchestown Racecourse, an event centre. We would have run, obviously, the Punchestown Festival is one of the biggest racing festivals in the world. Attracts 120,000 people every April. And on top of that, we had 30 or 40 shows, oxygen concert, various events like that. So when we went to market, we met with 8 ticketing companies over a period of 2 days. And after 2 days of listening to ticketing companies telling me what really they could do for themselves rather than what they could do for us, they control the process. And it felt like they'd built their products on the basis that what worked for them, not what worked for us as the client, or most importantly for our racegoers at the time, our fans, the people who wanted to engage with us. So as I was driving home this second evening, I made a phone call to Mark Cotter, passing through Monasterevin.
And what was Mark doing at that stage?
Mark was running his own software and web design company.
Okay, so there was a little bit of knowledge coming into it there, yeah.
There was a lot of knowledge, and I'd worked with Mark on a lot of projects over 15 years, so I knew he was the right guy to call.
So you make the call, and what did you say?
I said, I was just thinking, Mark. Which
I can see him. I'm just thinking, Mark.
Yeah, I'm thinking, could we design a ticketing system that put the customer at the centre of everything the same way we like to do
go
it?
You did not have that conversation. I'd say, listen, Mark, I have an idea or something. You didn't say, would we design it, putting the customer, being customer-centric or using words like that. You did not.
I did, yeah, because that's the way we always approach things. Like in the culture that I worked in Punchestown at the time was led by a guy called Dick O'Sullivan, whose whole philosophy was you put the customer at the centre of everything. So basically, that's what we did on a human level. Could we do that on a technology level? And from that, there was a couple of core principles to what we designed. Basically, the client has control of all the data, all the interaction. They own the brand. You get your brand integrity through everything you do. Money flows directly to you. You control it. We're an enabling software. And everything we built is modular, so we can continue to add to it. And we focus very much on the API, which allows you to choose your integration partners and start joining up all your systems together. So a lot of phone calls over about a year on the back roads between Punchestown and Tullamore. And eventually we started with our first customer, which was actually the Sunday Business Post for conferences. And next customer turned out...
Is it iQuest? Is that their business, conference business?
Yeah, at the time, yeah. And then obviously Punchestown became a customer quite quickly.
Surprise.
Yes. Did a very good deal with us at the time. And after a while, I decided it was probably time to quit the day job. And there seemed to be more in this business than we thought. Initially, we thought we'd be limited to maybe some race courses.
Talk to me about those days when you're sitting there thinking, hang on, this could be very big. That's kind of exciting, isn't it?
It's really exciting.
Where were you? Sitting in the bath or having your...
Usually sitting watching racing or trying to buy a ticket for something else. Like trying to buy a ticket on Ticketmaster or various other platforms. And just starting to see that, there were so many different types of tickets. Like we started doing Santa events. We started doing museums.
You're not proud.
Yeah. We started doing museums. We started doing, football clubs. And so eventually I decided to quit the day job and go into full-time in the business. And
Talk to me about the first day. Did you ever say, oh my Jesus, I've made a big mistake?
I did, yeah. Because the first day I finished early, went out playing football with my kids and smashed my arm in 2 places.
Oh, gee. Okay, that wasn't a good start.
And ended up spending a couple of days in hospital, having an operation, getting a plate fitted to my arm, and realising that there was no safety net. So I had to go back to work the next week, pretty much.
Welcome to the world of self-employment.
Yeah. So I've managed to only break one limb since that, but that's a piece of business advice. Try and avoid breaking limbs when you're working for yourself.
And there's another thing called keyman insurance. But the only problem with keyman insurance is somebody might try to kill you because you might be more valuable dead than alive.
Yeah. Yes.
So, okay, so you start and you do your Santas and you do your Punchestown and you do your bits and bobs. Then the big one, internationalization.
Yeah.
The one we all love.
Yeah, so we started obviously here in Ireland. Got up to about 40 customers in Ireland, mostly football clubs, race courses, outdoor shows and events. And then we knew we were expert in racing, so we used racing as our entry into the UK.
Who's going to win at 3:30?
If I knew that, I wouldn't have to work for a living. The one thing I did learn from working in racing is there are no shortcuts, unfortunately. The bookies are very wealthy for a reason.
Okay, we all agree with that. So you are sitting there thinking about the world.
Yeah, thinking about the world. Thinking about the natural flow was obviously to go to the UK. Initially, English-speaking market. We consider the island of Ireland as one territory, so we obviously began working in Northern Ireland as well. Our first customer in Northern Ireland was actually Downroad Racecourse, and then quickly followed by Balmoral and Linfield Football Club. And we now have, I think, the top 8 football clubs in Northern Ireland all work with us, and the top
Fantastic.
2.
And then go over into the UK now, into Britain. Tell me what's happening over there.
Well, we've an office in Manchester.
Was that chosen for a reason?
Yeah, I like Manchester. There's a lot of football clubs in the area.
Was that actually your thinking?
Yeah, well, we deliberately stayed out of London because we just felt Manchester was a more innovative city. How
does that show itself?
Lots of young people, very dynamic, lots of universities.
It's the media centre of Britain now, of course, yeah.
It is,
BBC and all the rest of them have all moved in there.
And it's very much the technology centre. There's a lot of flights from Dublin Airport into Manchester. Our office is about a 4-minute walk from Manchester Airport. And we also had a lot of customers in the area, like Wigan Athletic Football Club, Rochdale Football Club. Stockport. So we found it an easier territory to get going in, to be honest.
Okay. And then from the UK too?
Quite a bit in in Scotland. We've got 12 football clubs working with us in Scotland, and across, more international. We have some business now. We just started in the Middle East, working with some big Saudi Arabian football clubs, and we've about a dozen customers now in America as well.
Anybody I'd recognise in the States?
Lagoon Fest. If you ever wanted a really enjoyable day out in Texas, go to Lagoon Fest, or a good race meeting.
Okay, talk to me about that now. Texas, first of all, I know, is almost the same size as Europe, the centre of Europe. It's vast. How did you end up ticketing a festival in a place somewhere, I don't know where it is, in the middle of Texas?
I'd like to tell you it was really strategic, but it was kind of accidental, to be honest.
Tell me, because people who are in business, who are listening to this, will understand sometimes good accidental things happen.
Yeah, it was, we built an app with one of our partners, Clover. So you've probably seen Clover units across the board in coffee shops. Or these really these swish-looking white EPOS units that have run some of the best technology in the world on them for EPOS. So
that's point of sale, electronic point of sale, is it?
Yeah, exactly.
Because if you use any types of acronyms in this podcast, you get a beating. Did you know
that? Okay. So we built an app to sit on a Clover unit, and we partnered with an Irish company called FaciliPay. And FaciliPay won a little bit of business in Texas, and the company in Texas said, "What about ticketing?" I said, "Well, we actually know this Irish company who have this brilliant app.
In Offaly.
Who have this brilliant app. Why don't we talk to them? Why don't you talk to them?" So they began the conversation. We did some integrations, and they were opening, the company were opening a new visitor attraction. And
where is this located?
In Texas. I haven't been there yet, actually.
Okay, so Texas now.
Somewhere close to Houston.
That's like saying somewhere in Europe.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Exactly. So, somewhere around close to Houston. And,
all right. Fast.
It's going really well. So
business. How many are employed now down in Offaly?
We have total employment is 35.
And they'll be obviously around the globe, are they?
Yeah, well, we've got office in Mauritius, office in Manchester. Office
in Mauritius?
Yeah.
Hang on a second now. We're going to have to take a break. Hold that thought about Mauritius, and we'll get on to there after this quick break.
Everyday accounting can be a bit of a drama for SMEs. However, BigRedCloud.com takes the drama away with its simple and easy to use cloud-based accounting and payroll software designed for SME owners. Raise and send invoices, manage VAT reports and obligations, run management reports, link directly to Irish banks, automatically import purchase invoices, and so much more. All with 5-star customer support. BigRedCloud.com, 100% Irish owned and a proud member of Team GBS.
Viscosity. When you shave, you want the highest viscosity because it helps the blade run smoother. De facto, the world's best shaving oil, has incredible viscosity. That's why De facto leaves your face, underarms, or legs nick-free. Higher viscosity makes blades last longer. De facto is the best for your skin and your pocket. DeFactoShave.com.
All that great business show advertisers are Team GBS approved. Back them.
Now, I am here talking to Dominic, Amrutha, Jim and Liam about all things at the moment. Ticketing, it'll widen out in a second. But Liam, you just mentioned Mauritius. How did you end up in Mauritius? Very beautiful place, I believe. But why there?
One of our investors, Mickey O'Rourke, who is probably best known for Setanta and Smith and Wolenski and various other businesses, he is a shareholder in a business in Mauritius, introduced us to some of the right people. So we were able to basically put together a customer service team in Mauritius and manage a lot of our customer service out of there. They're really bright people, really diligent, very tech savvy, and provide a great service.
And
to
I
us.
bet you've been down there, haven't you?
Unfortunately, lockdown kicked in.
Because I believe it's a very beautiful place.
Yeah, so I'm planning to get there within the next 6 weeks. That's the plan.
Oh, good. Now, Dominic, back to you, because a bit of work for you to do now. We've heard there from Liam. We'll come back to Liam in a second. Who's next?
Next up, I think we will go with Amrutha.
And what does Amrutha do?
Well, let me tell you briefly about the model for an Innovation Boost project. So as I mentioned, we connect a company with a college, with the college bringing an area of expertise to the table. And once that collaboration is in place and once funding is in place, the company will hire a graduate as a project manager to take that project by the scruff of the neck, supported by an academic partner such as Jim from Northwest Regional College. And in the case of Future Ticketing, Amrutha was hired as the project manager for this particular Innovation Boost collaboration.
Amrutha, you have the stage, you have the floor. So, what was it like working with them? He's all over the place, isn't he? Literally.
Yeah, that's true. So basically, I'm actually not just the project manager. It's more like a developer, tester, DevOps team, and basically the project manager for the product that I'm working on. So.
And is the project that you are working on, or the software that you're working on, forever evolving, I presume?
Yes. Yeah. Obviously.
So therefore, as a project, it's a forever and an ongoing project which grows and grows and grows.
Yeah, that's true. That's kind of typical of all the technical projects that you take up. So, that technology is ever evolving, right? So there's no stopping to where technology, there's no stop to technology itself. So if you're developing something, there's always something better coming up into the technical market. So then you have to keep improving your designs. You have to improve the architecture of the product itself. So it's always evolving.
I know something about project managers, not management because I couldn't do it, but I know that your skills are like hen's teeth. People kill to have a good project manager. Discuss.
Well, I would like to hope so.
What's so difficult about it? What do you find so hard?
So basically, let's start off with, majority of the population, that's almost 63% of the entire Earth population uses internet on a daily basis. So it kind of brings in a need for the businesses to evolve with the technology itself. So that kind of makes businesses want to have an online presence. So, that's where we come in. So
what's your day today?
So basically, we developers, we write code, we test it. We kind of try to automate a lot of things so that nothing's done manually, because that's how the world is going. So, majority involves writing code and deploying it and testing it and making sure nothing breaks, because that's entirely the point of having a software developer in the team.
And how did you end up working with Liam?
Oh, okay, that's actually a big story. So I'm actually a master's graduate from NUIG, now University of Galway. So
they keep changing the name of that place.
Yeah, they do. They actually do.
I don't know. Just NUIG was always a good name, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Anyway, you were a master's graduate out of Galway.
Yeah, so it so happened that I happened to graduate at a very, very bad time. It was like the COVID crucial period, which was like September 2020.
You know, when you say the bad time, can I bring you back to the 1970s? You know what? I was reading something this morning, and the GDP in Ireland per capita was $2,000 per capita. Do you know what it is today? You don't. $83,000. You have never had it so good. So don't talk to me about bad times.
Well, I still applied for thousands of jobs. I got back 2 applications. I mean,
as a project manager at the moment, people would actually eat your arm off at the moment. So it's a different story, isn't it, at the moment?
Well, yeah, at the moment, yes. But yeah, back then it really wasn't, because I actually made thousands of applications. So many people from my batch did make thousands of applications.
No, sorry, tell me, thousands. Honestly, thousands?
No, seriously.
Get away. No, come on. Did you send off how many thousand?
No, actually, it's thousands. Probably okay, mine might be probably 1,500, because I started somewhere in mid-May. That's when my the thesis starts. So I started making applications from mid-May till September. And
non-stop?
Yeah.
And did you get any replies? Because there is a big thing at the moment is that people are not replying to applications.
Yeah, at that time, not many were. So
What a bunch of pigs. 50. No, really do get a bit cheesed off with that. 1,500 applications, roughly. Did you get 10 yeses or
I got 2.
responses? Oh, jeez. Okay. We're going down, as I often do, down a little rabbit hole, because I really do feel for people like you. Brilliantly trained, really keen to work, probably work 25 hours a day. And then the pigs who want to employ you don't actually respond. I don't like it. Anyway, you are now in a happy place.
Yeah, very
How
much.
long have you been working with Future Ticketing?
18 months.
Okay.
Oh, a little more than 18 months, I guess.
Like hell, was it?
No, it was actually very, very interesting.
He is laughing. It's okay. So what's the future now? What can be done with Future Ticketing? Will I, at one stage, someday, not even have to... I mean, I'm sure, Liam, that you loathe when I even mention Ticketmaster, because when I use Ticketmaster, I cringe. I get that awful feeling for lots of reasons. There's a lovely podcast we did with Pat Egan. I can't remember, is it number 70 or something like that? And he talks about Ticketmaster and he tells the truth about Ticketmaster, but that is for another day. Back to you. Now, the future of ticketing, what does it look like?
So right now we're actually enhancing the product to be compatible with the latest technology. We are kind of looking into expanding using machine learning algorithms, putting into the system. So that's, again, in the future. But yeah, it's basically how you make user experience the best experience. So that's kind of what you always look at, because like how Liam said, right? It's a customer-centric business development. So if you want the customer to be happy, you have to make the UX in such a way that they are really happy.
UX is user experience. I told you that you get a beating here
I'm so
for
sorry. Yeah.
And how will that manifest itself? Because I always love seeing the future. How will I be a happier... In fact, it's probably impossible for me to be any happier. How will I be a happier person?
Okay, let me give you a very simple example. For example, you go into McDonald's, right? There are different user experience screens that you can come up with.
They're terrible.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that, and you don't have to say it, but I'm telling you. Yeah, okay.
Well, the first and foremost rule which comes from user experience is that avoid as many clicks as you can from the user.
And do you know who taught us that? Jeff Bezos, master of the single click.
Yes.
If you can do it in one click, talk to me.
Yeah, exactly. So you basically kind of make it in such a way that it's just like simple clicks away, because people don't want to go around and, type things in. They don't want to fill out forms or anything of that sort. For example, if you're given a form and given options, right? It'll be a lot more easier to just click the options instead of just typing in the entire thing.
Agreed. That's what I do. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So that is actually a form of user experience. So user experience can be evolved to different parts of the technology that you're applying. So, for example, if we bring in machine learning into our current system, right, it's going to make manual effort reduced by almost 50%.
Happy days.
Yeah. So,
and when are we going to see this? Soon or?
That's actually, we have a roadmap for it. So yeah, that will definitely come up very soon.
Do you see what she did there, Liam? She didn't answer the question. She probably said, I can't go there, I'm not going there. But between the two of you, is that soon? I mean, are we talking about months or years or?
One of the keys to developing any technology is the market has to be ready for it as well.
But I'm ready.
You're ready. If you're ready, the market is ready, Cole. We'll push
well,
it
you
out.
know what people do? They register everything or reckon everything off themselves, and it's always a big mistake.
Yeah.
But I mean, anything that simplifies any process, yes, please.
Yeah. I mean, we've taken customers who take maybe 18 clicks to sell a ticket, and we've got them down to 2 or 3.
Oh, I love you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I cannot tell you. And of course, for those who don't understand, if you make it easy, I'll buy 2 tickets, I'll buy 4 tickets. I said, that's really easy. I went on actually the other day to buy a ticket for an opera because I'm kind of posh like that. Oh, don't bother. It's just too much trouble.
Yeah. I mean, with things like auto-renew for a season ticket. So if you're a season ticket holder for Connacht Rugby, you'll go on, you basically, we send a link, you go in and you confirm, yeah, this is what I bought last year. I want the exact same thing this year. Press the button and it's all done.
I don't know. Amrutha, is that male thinking? Because that, speaks to me. It sings to me about don't give me. It's a bit like going into a shop. Men, as they will tell you, we buy. I can see Liam there wearing a white shirt. I wear a white shirt. I don't actually want anything else. Just give me a white shirt. Is that from your the real now experience? Is there a big gender issue about what people want to do? Clicking?
I don't think so, because a user is any person, for the matter of fact. So I like personally speaking, like 2 weeks back, I was looking at an e-commerce website. I was just browsing through it. I saw that the pagination, that is like, your page loads after you load a set of products, right? So, when the page finishes loading, it loads the products right after. So that's called pagination. So the pagination was so slow, I waited for 3 seconds max. So right after that, I just closed the tab without a second thought. So it actually takes, there's actually research proving that with every increase in a second, there's almost 5% users who stop using the website, which kind of makes it like a very crucial to time. So it has to be a very performant system. So the challenging part for us is that, for example, like we are creating events which involve a lot of setups, right? In comparison to websites, which probably just loads, forms or data or even images. We have actually a lot of background mathematical computation involved. But the only thing is the time criteria, the restrictions around time kind of applies to both of them and equally, despite us having a lot more computation to be done. That kind of adds an extra, it's more, a little bit more difficult.
I can see what you're saying. The more sophisticated in a way, it's going to take more time to load.
Ideally, yes.
Which means that people will say no.
Yeah, that's true.
So we kind of work against ourselves.
Yeah, but the more sophisticated it is in the background, the simpler it can be presented usually. So the more you're doing in the background, the less you're asking the customer to do.
Yeah.
And the more you're...
Now, this is a kind of a mad question. What are you guys doing, the Ticketmaster, that is dominating the world for lots of reasons? I say again, Pat Egan episode, do listen to it. What are you guys doing that, besides putting the customer first, that they can't or won't or aren't?
They control the ticket journey and the process. So basically you buy...
And the artist and the venue and...
Yeah, exactly. And that's why artists and venues use them, because...
they have to.
Yeah. Very, very few people use Ticketmaster out of choice. So basically, they own the transaction. So you buy a ticket with Ticketmaster. You've bought from Ticketmaster. You haven't bought from the Opera House. You haven't bought from Pat Egan. You haven't bought from the artist. With us, you buy from the football club. And all the data and the transaction is owned by the football club, not by Ticketmaster. So for all intents and purposes, if you're working with Ticketmaster and you're a rugby club or a football club or a race course or an artist, you're turning around and saying, I really don't want you as my customer. I don't want to know you. I don't want your information. I don't want your money. I don't want anything to do with you. Ticketmaster are going to look after all of that, and they'll just send me some money afterwards. I haven't taken a big cut out of it. With us, you have to be prepared to say, yeah, I want you as a customer. Yeah, I want to know about you. I want to know your data. I want to know your information. I'm prepared to take the transaction. I'll take your money directly, and I want to have that relationship. A lot of artists don't, and they're happy to use Ticketmaster. Some of the major sporting organisations, especially in this country, they don't care about their fans. They don't really want to know. And very often, as you move up to a situation where you're more distant from your fans or your customers, you stop caring, and decisions are made not about what's important to the fan. It's what's easy, what's quick, what's established.
And Pat Egan also taught me that big bands, most big bands nowadays, take 100% of the door. So they don't really care. They just see a number and that goes to them. And Ticketmaster puts all those extra prices on top of it and then sell the so-called merch as well to try to make some money as well.
Yeah.
Tough old business.
Yeah, it is on a certain level, on a certain scale. But if you have a better product, which we have... and
she's going to say that.
Yeah, and if you're enabling people that, in general, Ticketmaster software is from the last century. It's very, very limited in what it can offer.
Don't get me to the High Court, please. Ticketmaster is a very, very fine software. Repeat after me. It's a very fine software. On that point, I think we'll take a quick break. Let's take a quick break.
Thinking of travel? If so, make sure to make De Facto, the world's best shaving oil, your choice of travel companion. A 25 millilitre bottle of De Facto means no hassle at airports, no bulky cans to carry, and the guarantee of the world's best shave. DeFactoShave.com.
Everyday accounting can be a bit of a drama for SMEs. However, BigRedCloud.com takes the drama away with its simple and easy to use cloud-based accounting and payroll software designed for SME owners. Raise and send invoices, manage VAT reports and obligations, run management reports, link directly to Irish banks, automatically import purchase invoices, and so much more. All with 5-star customer support. BigRedCloud.com, 100% Irish owned and a proud member of Team GBS.
All that great business show advertisers are Team GBS approved. Back them.
That great business show.
And we are talking here on That Great Business Show about how wonderful that Ticketmaster software is.
Let me just rephrase that. I absolutely love Ticketmaster because they make us look so good.
Okay. Right, Dominic, you're on again. Introduce the fourth of our 4 guests, you being the first.
Sure. So this time it's Jim. Jim's from Northwest Regional College in Derry, and Jim is a regular contributor to Innovation Boost projects. So as I mentioned, when we have a company that have a particular project they want to move forward, but they perhaps don't have all the skills or expertise, we'll connect them with an academic that has those skills and expertise. And that's why we brought Jim to the table for this particular project.
Does that make you an academic, Jim?
Sort of. I'm academic, but also support. So, yeah.
So what do you do?
So I'm a manager of XR, which I'll explain. XR Centre. It's extended reality. It's augmented, virtual, all that kind of reality.
I haven't come across XR before.
It's a catch-all. Do you know when there's a couple of different acronyms?
Yeah.
Sometimes people think making an extra acronym for everyone to remember is going to solve that problem. So this is it. So XR covers AR, it covers VR, and it covers,
AI?
It's not really. No, that would fall in some other places. But yeah, the elements of it could be used.
So to those like me who wouldn't know XR, except the last time they probably saw it, and you're probably, again, way too young. I think the Ford Escort used to have an XR model. So I don't think it's quite the same thing.
No.
Yeah.
No,
so what is XR to me?
Yeah, so XR is everything that encompasses virtual reality, so headsets, like everything in terms of that kind of thing, but also augmented reality. So augmented reality could be like if you've ever done tours where you can use your phone and it gives you extra information, that's reality being applied onto, like augmented. So it's like those two aspects, but it also encompasses different kind of connected technologies. So, for example, you can bring in kind of games technologies, other kind of things they got there. So IoT as well. So information. I've done it again.
That's okay,
of Things.
You kind of almost just moved into explaining that. That was fine.
Yeah.
So Internet of Things.
Internet of Things. And there's a lot of kind of crossover in those so that you can bring them all together. So yeah, it's one of those umbrella terms that...
and what is your training? How did you end up doing this?
My background is game development. So I ran a games company for 7 years. And after that,
you look about 12. Are you one of these lads who sits all night and all day just flicking away? Or?
No, I wish. I think one of the things when you go into game development is you end up playing less games because you don't have time because they're quite long hours. So I ran that studio for 7 years. And
where was that?
It was in Derry.
Okay.
So
I did a gig up in Derry quite some years ago, and there was... I might have come across you.
You might have, yeah.
It was a lunchtime thing a long time ago. Anyway.
Yeah, might have got roped into something there.
So out of that, you came and then did what?
Joined with Northwest Regional College and kind of used my kind of experience in games technology and IT to kind of bring that to, helping businesses and, like support them. So I work under the Business Support Centre. So the Business Support Centre, we have like a couple of different funding mechanisms where we go out and help businesses either with training or with development, research, or sometimes, like even hiring people. We can kind of give a good insight in that side of things. So a lot of that kind of comes under the Innovation Boost category because we can kind of throw all that into there and kind of use all of our skill sets. We've got a couple other departments too. So we have the one I've mentioned with XR, but we also have Foodivation, which is a food development center. So it's recipe development. It's got like things like like new product development, testing, tasting, everything there. And we've got the product design center, which is that's a self-descriptive one there. But they also do a lot of engineering support there, and we have the newest one, which is the Industry 4.0 Centre, where it's automation.
Come on, I've only just got to 3.0.
I know.
I've moved to 4.0.
Yeah, so Industry 4.0 is all about automations, about like how those like those things, all those manufacturing stuff is going to be like better automated in the future. So yeah, that's the difference.
So Dominic, bring all of this together for me as to how this whole boost works now.
Sure. So the starting point really is a conversation between the likes of myself and a company to figure out where that company is at.
Who came to you? Did Liam come to you?
In this case, winding the clock back, I think the guys in Future Ticketing had already availed of a different Intertrade Ireland support, the Acumen programme, which is in relation to sales and marketing. And through that, they became familiar with what was at the time a programme called Fusion, but is now Innovation Boost. Okay.
Why do you change names?
Good question. I think fundamentally the programme is about increasing or boosting the level of innovation within SMEs across the island of Ireland. So the name Innovation Boost in that respect makes a lot of sense. Fusion, on the other hand, also captures the fact that if you bring two things together, such as the college, the company, and a very capable graduate, then you've got a lot of power to do things which you might have struggled to do before. Okay, so the conversation would have happened with the guys around what their particular needs were, where they wanted to go in terms of their product development, and challenges that were associated with that for them. On the back of that type of conversation, then we would typically, as I mentioned earlier, act as a matchmaker and go and talk to people we know in a number of the colleges in the north and suss out who might be best placed to help the company on their project. Often the company will talk to 2 or 3 different colleges in the north and decide who they'd most like to work with. And then from that point forward, if there's a good synergy, the college will, and this is good news for the companies, the college will take the lead on preparing the application, which is one of the big hurdles that companies often find when they're trying to access this type of support. So the college will do a lot of the work on that, supported and with contributions and input from the company, obviously. And we very much support companies as they prepare that application and make sure that it's going in the right direction and increasing its chance of being successful.
Now, you better give a shout out for Intertrade so that people understand exactly what it is doing. Every year I see the Seed Corn Fund and I tell everybody to apply for it because it's a chunk of change.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So Intertrade fundamentally is a body about increasing the level of north-south collaboration in the area of business, and they work in a number of different pillars. One which you just alluded to is in respect of equity investment. So they would run, for example, advisory clinics to help early stage companies gear themselves up for significant fundraising rounds.
The Seed Corn Fund, isn't that? I mean, was there €250,000 or something involved there?
I think the overall prize pot is of that order, and it depends if you win the big overall prize or if you win one of the regional prizes. But there's huge value as well in the Seed Corn competition in that it's intended and its format very much replicates the journey you might go through if you're trying to raise money. So you do a number of pitches, you do a business plan, you do a pitch. If you get through to a regional final, you do another pitch, you get grilled by different panels. But at each stage of that process, you'll get feedback as well, which ultimately increases the company's chance of raising money. So that's one area that Intertrade Ireland works extensively in North and South. In the same vein, they support a number of business angel networks that you may be familiar with. HBAN, for example, that brings together high net worth individuals and encourages them and facilitates them in investing in early stage companies. So there's the equity and investment piece. There's also, as we touched upon briefly earlier, sales and marketing. And Acumen is the main support mechanism for that. So if you have, for example, a company in Northern Ireland which is looking to develop their market in the Republic of Ireland, they can access support for perhaps a consultant initially to do a little bit of sussing out of the marketplace. And then different levels of a sales resource, or a part-time or a full-time person in that market actually developing their sales activity in that area. So that's equity, that's sales and marketing, and as we mentioned, Innovation Boost is the flagship really in the area of innovation, which is another pillar of focus for Intertrade Ireland.
So Liam, what has it done for you and your business?
First thing I have to say is it's easy. Going back to your 1 click or 2 clicks, a lot of these type of state-funded bodies make life a little bit difficult to go through the process. These guys make it easy.
That's a good start.
Yeah, Yeah.
He's just said the right thing, didn't he, Dominic?
10 out of 10.
The second thing is they gave us access to knowledge and expertise that we wouldn't normally have through Jim. And then they found us an absolute genius in Amrutha. They actually, when you hire somebody through this program, you're given 18 months to decide if you want to keep them. It took us about 18 minutes, to be honest.
But she's been with you 18 months now. Do you want to make the formal offer?
Oh, we already have.
Amrutha, you're hired.
Yeah. That didn't take long. To realise. But they make it easy for you, and they allow you.
Tell me something tangible, because we have thousands of people listening to this podcast who would just love to say, God, yeah, we could use that. Tell me how or what that something tangible that they have delivered to your business.
Yeah, I suppose if you have something that you don't have time to do yourself within your own resource. So we have a development team, but they're working on day to day a lot. They're working on new innovations. And if there's a project there that's been nagging at you to think this could really enhance our software or our customer offering, these guys basically you brief them, they take it from you, and they get the right people to put it together, and then they deliver it. So it's from our point of view, it's very much additional resource and additional expertise that we don't have to hand ourselves. So almost every company has something that they wish they could do better.
Any good entrepreneur should have anyway. So the brain should always be going tickety-tickety. Yeah. And Dominic, cost... Does it cost anybody anything? Sorry, obviously cost somebody somewhere, but does it cost the entrepreneur or the enterprise?
No, not at all. There's no cost at all to the company.
I mean, why would you not? I mean, honestly, why would you not?
Absolutely. As you mentioned earlier, there's money, mentorship and brain power, I think, were the three things. So we better cover off the money side of things. So the funding package is in the region of €60,000. And that will be a contribution towards the employment of the project manager for a period of 12 or 18 months, depending on the nature of the project. There's funding in there to support the ongoing training and development of that project manager. It's really important as part of this program that it's a very positive experience for the graduate, and that they have the opportunity to really build their own capability and their own CV. And there's funding there for project expenses, everything from laptop to perhaps particular equipment that might be needed to implement the project. And then there's a stream of funding which supports the college in Northern Ireland in this case for their time and their expertise in assisting the company. And roughly speaking, people will often ask, but how much time do you get from the college? So the ballpark is about 2 days per month of time from someone like Jim working with your company, but in reality, it's often much, much more than that.
And do you get 10 applications a year, 100 applications a year, or 1,000?
Good question. We fund in and around 60 applications each year.
And are you kind of careful that it has to be 50-50 across the border? Or if you get 100 great applications from Kerry, will they all get the money?
No, it's very important. As you know, Intertrade Ireland is a north-south body. So generally there's roughly a sort of 1/3, 2/3 split of the spread, if you like, of most supports and most initiatives that are backed by Intertrade Ireland. And we would see that in the projects that we support. I would say that we're very... we talk to companies very openly from the very beginning, and we'll give them a pretty straight steer in the early days as to whether we think the project will be successful, and we very much support them through the application process. So most projects that we work with through that application process will be funded.
And is there a time limit, or is there a time that people should have to get their applications in by?
We run 5 application windows throughout the year.
That's not bad.
They're spread relatively equally throughout the year, and the next one coming up, I think, is the 8th of December, if I'm not mistaken.
And are you looking for specifically any types or any sectors or any sizes of companies?
Size-wise, a company needs to have at least 5 employees and generally less than 250 employees, and that they need to be an SME. But we very much have companies ranging from maybe 6 or 7 employees up to companies in the low 200s. So there is that range. As regards sector, we're very open on that, and we really have everything, and food, biotech, agricultural machinery, manufacturing. It's very much across the board.
And did you say that there were 3 colleges in Northern Ireland, and is that it, or do you have colleges in the south as well?
Well, if we talk firstly about the north, so there's the two universities that people would be familiar with, so Ulster University and Queen's University. There's the 6 regional colleges, of which Northwest is one. And there's also a specific college in the north, the College of Agriculture, Food and Rural Enterprise, which is for Innovation Boost projects very much focused on assisting food companies from here for new product development projects in particular. And then if it's a case of a company in Northern Ireland accessing the programme, they could work with any of the universities in the Republic of Ireland, any of the institutes of technology, or now the technological universities, which, as you know, are becoming more common in the Republic at the moment.
Cool. That all sounds pretty positive. Liam, you're a fan?
Yeah, big time. They made it easy. It didn't cost us anything.
Which
we
of
got,
course
we got really good resource out of it, and we got excellent technology enhancement. So yeah.
So before I go to the last question to you all, which you all know because I've checked that you know what I'm going to ask you, where's the future for future ticketing?
World domination.
I mean, honestly,
something close to that.
Is that what you think of?
Yeah, well,
there's another fella down in Offaly who is dominating the golf world, and is that you're kind of driven by the same thing?
Yeah. Listen, we enjoy what we do. We love what we do, and as long as we keep enjoying it, as long as we keep looking after our customers, as long as I can go to some of the best race meeting and football matches in the world and call it work, we keep doing what we're doing.
And when Ticketmaster call around and offer you a big fat check, you'll take that as well.
No way. No, that's what.
Okay. Final question to you all. Let me start with you, Dominic, is who would Dominic Mullan hire in a heartbeat?
I thought about this for a little while, and then I thought for the week that's in it, it's glaringly obvious in a way. I think Damien Brown, who I'm sure you've heard, the chap who's just rode his way all the way from North America to Ireland, who started that crazily ambitious project with a crewmate. There were 2 of them in the boat, and then his crewmate became unwell and had to be airlifted out.
I think you have to be unwell to start that in the first place.
I think you're absolutely right. But taking on that adventure as a pair and then finding yourself solo and completing, I think he spent 98 days without seeing another human, if I'm not mistaken.
That's my idea of bliss, mind you. But what would he do for you? Like, the guy's obviously a solo artist in every sense.
Sure, and you would be slightly concerned about how much annual leave he'd want if he's going to go off on another mad adventure such as that.
I think it was 107 days, was that it?
I think it was more.
Was it? Anyway, I've got 115 in my head for some reason. Social media.
Yeah. Well, I think if and in a way, there's a parallel here with Amrutha. Amrutha took on a project which had loads and loads of technical challenges, quite significant technical challenges. He took on a project which was going to involve storms, high winds, all of those sorts of things, and yet he stuck to the task and got the job done, and much as Amrutha has done.
Amrutha, storms, high winds. Who would you hire in a heartbeat? Sounds like you need a doctor or something.
No, it actually depends on what roles I'd be hiring for. I mean, it can't be just one person, actually.
You don't have to have one person.
Okay. So,
just dream.
Wait. I would actually, if you think of senior developer or project manager types, I would probably hire people whom I've worked with personally and who I know are like really, really good. So,
Jim, take out your bio there because there's some good names to come out here.
Yeah. So the first one would probably be my brother, Abhiram Ramesh, and my husband, Chandrakant Chaturvedi Sridhar. So, like, these are the guys
It's a family affair.
Yeah, but then they are really, really good. So I worked with my brother on various hackathons, and we always qualified to the top 5. Even if we haven't won.
Love hackathons.
Yeah, I know.
I went to one and I was so amazed by people who can do so much so quickly. And for those who don't understand what a hackathon is, well, actually explain it to them.
Yeah, so generally a hackathon is either 24 hours or it could be probably less duration, number of hours of coding, just pure coding. You're just reinventing some new idea of something which is innovative. And you kind of like bring up like a basic solution, at least a POC of sorts. And you kind of pitch it to the judges for them to decide what is one of the best innovative solutions that you can come across. Like, it could be applied to like various,
but as you said, you do it in 24 hours.
Yeah.
Like, it is pressure.
Yeah, it is.
And you do it because it's fun.
Yeah. It is a lot of fun.
And your husband and your brother are good.
Yeah, they're really good.
Jim, did you hear that? Jim?
Yeah.
Sorry, he's on the phone there.
Yeah.
Okay, well, they make sense to me. So, Jim, you better change your hire in a heartbeat. Jim, who would you hire in a heartbeat?
First thing is, I'm really good at hiring. I've hired a lot of really, really good people. First rule of hiring has always been, for me, hire people who are smarter than you.
Okay, we've heard that, yeah.
Which makes it really easy for me, to be honest. You mentioned golf earlier on. I'd hire Pádraig Harrington rather than Shane Lowry. Much as I love Shane, Pádraig, his world domination, won majors, gotten to the top of his game, worked really hard, continued to innovate, continued to add to his game, continued to relentlessly try and improve all the time.
That was the problem?
Yeah.
That was the problem.
Yeah. Really committed. A really nice guy and a real good family man as well on top of that. And a team player. Unusual for a golfer. Performs best in teams. So,
that's a fair observation, yeah.
And understands P&Ls as well, and understands the value of working for a living, and continues to be at the top of his game at 51, and will continue to be probably for the rest of his life. So, yeah, he's the guy I'd probably hire.
Any chance? Have you ever made a phone call to him, or?
Not yet.
Okay, well, Pádraig Harrington, you're hired as well. So the final hire in a heartbeat is going to go to you, Jim.
Yeah. So I'm going to say it's similar to Amrutha. It's like I have a great team I work with, in all the different departments. And the only way I could think would be a little bit, better is that I was work with other people I've worked before. So my old team in terms of the games company, if I was to name someone, maybe Thomas McCluskey. He's a video games artist and a video games designer, and he's always out releasing new games. I think the last one he's worked on is a Ninja Turtles game, the one that came out there recently. So, gifted artist, very capable.
And is that company still going?
He's got his own company, so he's doing a lot of kind of projects there. So, yeah.
So it's the right little kind of hive of activity up in Derry.
There's quite a few. There's a company up there called Hypixel, and they were recently bought by Riot Games. One of the biggest games companies, and
happy days for somebody.
Yeah. So there's a pretty big game, kind of like a next gen Minecraft they're developing. So there's big kind of prospects in Derry for games development up there.
Goes straight over my head.
Yeah.
And I'm delighted to say that is so good. Listen, that was really interesting. So I suppose, Dominic, you better give them some address or email or something that anybody who wants to contact you will do so.
Sure. The simplest point of reference is intertradeireland.com, and just follow the links to innovation, and you'll find all the information about the Innovation Boost program.
And it is a nice website. It is easy to click on. Yep. They're all saying, yep.
Yeah.
Amrutha, yep. Okay. Thank you so much for joining us on That Great Business Show, all four of you. And that is it from That Great Business Show, episode 108. And do not forget to press the share button on LinkedIn, or send the link directly to your friends via WhatsApp. They will love you right across the internet. The new podcast, The Fifth Court, is now live, so do check it out. Advertising managers, why are you not advertising with us? Big Red Cloud does. Microfinance Ireland does. Virgin Media did. Nudaros Nagurta did. Our engagement levels are through the roof. Up to 80% and more in some cases. Listeners who love That Great Business Show really, really do listen. We record here at the Dublin South Podcast Studios, where sound engineer Lee Brennan is now an old hand. Later, Neil Oliver on post-production sound will add that extra sparkle that makes us sound like heaven on earth. And if you would like to record a podcast, contact the Dublin South Podcast Studios. It's where the Fifth Court sits. And if you would like the media group to produce a podcast for you or your business, or one on your own favourite topic, do think about that, then talk to me, Conal O'Moran. Find me on LinkedIn. All of our great business insights and tips are brought to you, as always, thanks to our sponsor, De Facto Shaving Oil. They've got 4 new users after today's programme. And it is, they know now, the world's best all-natural shaving oil. They back us, please back them. DeFactoShave.com will get them. And do not forget to buy Business Plus magazine, where we now have our regular column all about the podcast. From me, Conal O'Moran, Míle buchas for listening, agus slán tamil.